All right. So this is part of the agenda. Barrister Mbeseha had set the agenda on Thursday, where he clearly stated that this was pure political move, and we moved on with that. Barrister Fru.
Yes, it's a political move, but let me start by chastising our brother. After having gone through what he went through, he was kidnapped and tortured. You would imagine that that man would have carefully retired himself, go for early retirement or resign from the service and do something else because he has come back from death. But no, our people who work for La République of Cameroon have become such donkeys, that they will take you and use you as a political animal, push you into a village where you'll be mocked by villagers. Oh, you were kidnapped by your people, tortured by your people. Now you are free. You are here. And you are talking to us. Look, Ambazonians will have themselves to blame. The editorial of Dr. Mungwa is very, very, very excellent. It's to the point. The point is they are trying to use this man politically. They are trying to make us feel that we belong to them. It's a political gimmick. Whether it's Biya or Frank, it doesn't make any difference. But from what we have seen today, from the list that they have produced for the electorate, it is still going to be Paul. Which Paul? Paul is already incapacitated. So it will be governance by proxy. Ngongo and Madame will continue to do what they've been doing for the last 7 years. Does that concern us? No. But we don't want their chaos to prevail over our territory. So we must do something to ensure that their chaos does not cross. Because these things have a way of crossing. It's going to let them keep their chaos to themselves. They have assassinated more than 70,000 of our people. It is time for them to smell the coffee. They will smell the coffee and we will be laughing because we will make sure that we take all the necessary precautions to secularize our territory and let them stay off. Those who want to cross now, who are La Republic citizens in Ambazonia, you better start crossing because we are not going to accept refugees. We accepted refugees from 1959, 1960s when the UPC was banned and the Bamlikis were being slaughtered by the French. They came and we accepted them. What did they do? They turned against us. During this so-called war, they call crisis, they were contributing money in their tontings and giving to Lille Lafrique and Okala Belai to kill us. We have made that mistake before. We will not repeat it. La République is in such a place where they will certainly create refugees that will want to cross to our territory, and we will not allow that. Those who are in our territory who will be wanting to become refugees, this is the first time I'm advocating that we don't accept refugees on our territory because we are at war.
It's all right. Very stuffy. Very stuffy. We'll get there. I like how sometimes you just say it the way you feel. We will get there. But let's hear Dr. Mungwa. Recently, your audio and your latest editorial has been sinking deep. Seems more like it's a rise and a push towards something that is going to yield huge fruits. Now, seeing that an audio that you did 2 weeks ago is coinciding with something that is popping out this week, How does that make you feel? Is it more like solidifying what your thought has been, which has yielded your move into doing this editorial? Or what has the push, or what has initiated this push for these editorials that we've been seeing lately?
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I think many people do not understand that this actually fits within the framework of communal liberalism. It's all about, if you read communal liberalism, or if you've taken time to read how we'll be able to expose the core concept between communal liberalism. Communal liberalism is actually a system of governance that is actually based on the Mein Kampf of Hitler. And in that, in fact, is if you look at it from a philosophical point of view, it's actually engineered by the French. It actually has a scientific origin. It is based on the fact that they believe that is genuine democracy demands what they call a center of gravity. Listen, center of gravity. Now it becomes a mechanical system. So if anything has to be stable, there are two things that are required. At least I'm an engineer. You need, of course, the center of gravity, which is the where the total mass goes through. But for it to be stable, you need a certain plane. And if the center of gravity is within that plane, it will be stable. If it is outside that plane, it's going to fall over. So what is that plane? The plane is the ethnic constitution of that environment. So what has Biya and his communal liberalism said democracy, genuine democracy, demands a center of gravity, and that center of gravity is the presidency, which means that the presidency overrides everything. Even if you are an elected official, the presidency has the right to depose you, unlike in a pure democracy where power is derived from the people. So now what happens in order to make sure that that center of gravity remains within the presidency? What do? They say they take all the 250 ethnic groups, they crush it to be a monolithic body. That is the only way you make it, that stability will work. Otherwise, when you have a country like Cameroon, where you have English speakers, you have Betis, you have Bolo, you have Northerners, it cannot work because that central core, everything has to reflect what is in that center of gravity, which is the presidency. But of course, Biya knows that he doesn't want a Northerner to be president. He doesn't want somebody from the West to be president. So what do? You create this illusion of a unified ethnic group where you bring all the 250 ethnic groups and crush it together for it to be one. If you want to look at it from a mechanical system, it's like a car. You know, if a car goes at a certain speed and takes a bend, it will tumble over. But if you crush that car into a ball, what happens? Into a ball, it will roll over in different direction and no problem will happen because it's now all homogeneous, it's all monolithic, and it's all round. But at the core of it is the presidency, and around it, it is ethnic, his own ethnic groups. And then you start having different radii of different ethnic groups. That's what Biya wants to create in Cameroon. So, in order to achieve that, you need people who agree with that ideology, which is the Beti Bulu hegemony. And that's why you have Francophones who grew up in Anglophone areas, now they become our substitutes. So they agree with it, they represent us because they know that we can accept it. And then those within the Bamileke group, they will bring those that have been brought over so that he deals with them. So he always wants to look for leaders from all these other places who believe in that central agenda, which is the Bulu Beti hegemony. And from there, you have this call called a singer. A singer, that's the call that holds everything together. That's where everything is controlled. And that is a central call where Biya belongs. So everything has to be crushed. Everything must be controlled by that hegemony. And if he does that, he believes that that's the only way we can have genuine democracy. But there is a big lie behind it. It means that from the presidency, he's going to nominate governors. They will be like proconsuls. And these governors are far more powerful than elected mayors. That's why you have this idea of a delegate so popular in La Republique. Minister delegate, what does it mean? You have simply been delegated the powers to perform certain duties. If they are not happy with your performance, they will withdraw that power from you. So, minister delegate of national defense, it means that the true Minister of National Defense, who is the president. Minister delegate of the economy means that the true minister of the economy, who is the president. You have government delegates, means that who is the true delegate is the governor. It's not the mayor. So they have this double layer of governance where those who are elected are under those who are appointed. You have to listen to this. It's a very dangerous philosophy. And that's why you have delegates all over the place. Government delegate, minister delegate at the presidency, minister delegate in charge of this, minister delegate in charge of education, minister. So one person has complete authority over everybody. And if you are in a country where they've never had a genuine election since 1960, what does that mean? So that person at the top is definitely obeying somebody else, the French. And that's why Biya was in the secret service of the French. So he's being controlled from that top. And that's why they want to create this pseudo dynasty in some sort of aristocratic democracy. But in that case, you are looking for people who are extremely intelligent that can rule the masses. But in this case, they're not necessarily intelligent, they're all appointed. They appoint a government delegate, they appoint the minister delegate, they appoint the governor, they appoint everybody else. And you realize that in
Okay.
that setup, when they talk about decentralization, it's a mockery because everything must be approved by those non-elected officials. Okay, so they talk about the special status. Only 3% of the national budget is actually decided by all the councils in La Republique. 3%. 95% comes from where? The presidency. You can talk about your budget, but if that budget doesn't appear on the side of presidency, nobody's going to fund it. And you call that special status? It is an insult. So every position is duplicated at the presidency. They can
All right.
override parliamentary groups. These are people who've been elected. So there is no direct suffrage. Impossible in communal liberalism. And that's why we've
All
been
right.
telling people that if you vote for Biya, you are voting for communal liberalism and you're voting for your rights to be taken away. And there's no way we can vote to become slaves.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Mungwa. Barrister, so you can see that you saw ahead. You saw ahead on Thursday when you did clearly state that you were shocked about the move of Ewane Roland. We didn't have enough time. Would you want to say something in a few minutes?
Yes, let me just add this. I had described in talking about Iwane, I had said that a good number of Ambazonians in positions of power have become castrates. Who is a castrate? A castrate is the normal man, a male, who given 100 pretty girls, he will do nothing. He will just like the banana hole. And so these people have become castrates. Iwane being one of them. He has political power. He was given administrative power. And he has gone through what he had gone through. And I said here, when he came out, the first thing he did was to borrow money and give 50,000 francs in Kope Maneguba to urge President Paul Biya to become president once more. His name is on the list there. But that's not even the most important thing. The most important thing is that they were adopted, two of them. He enjoyed the presidential decree. It was chef d'etat. As of now, one they cannot even tell where the guy who went with him, who was adopted with him, is. Rather than give 50,000 francs to Paul Biya's campaign, he would have given that even 25,000 to the family of that poor young man who was picked in the street to help them in Idabato. He has completely forgotten about him. If you ask him where he is, he doesn't know. Ask him where the family is, he has no idea. Is this news? No. Ambassadors who got into this system have become castrates. I insist, castrates. And I give you another example. We all remember Madame Mundi. Madame Mundi, Regina, is an appointed senator by Paul Biya, but she lives in Bamenda. She has a Prado, a big car, where she recruits the son of a poor young man in Bamenda there and makes that guy her driver. They adopt two of them and take them to wherever. She's flown back in a helicopter. She does all what she knows about the poor boy, the driver in the street that he picked in Bamenda town, is that he died. and that his wife has since remarried. That's Madame Mundi, who is old enough to be a great-grandmother. But that's not all. Before becoming the senator, she retired as a cultural advisor in the governor's office. She understands Bermuda culture. And all what she can think about that young man who was driving for her, going down the car and buying plantain cocoyams in the road, is that he died. I admit. He cannot ask where his family is. And so they are complete castrates of anything you can imagine. And so that is what it is. We're unfortunate to be where we are. But again, fast forward, talk about the elections in Cameroon. That is none of our business. We have told them that we're not taking part because participation in the elections is submission, not resistance. That's all. Because all we wait from them is that come October, November, when somebody sits in the office there, we don't care how that person got there. Appointed by coup d'etat or any form or shape, that leader will be forced to negotiate with us. And this is in the history of Ambazonia. It was back in 1961 when Foncha was leading delegations to Fumban, when Foncha was meeting with Ahijo. Foncha was a duly elected official. He had defeated Ndele in a fair, free elections. But Foncha was meeting with Ahijo, who had never been elected anywhere. Ahijo had never been elected anywhere, but he posed as the president of Cameroon. In that, his unelected capacity, he signed 1st September the so-called federal constitution. And so we don't care how they get their leaders. We care what their leaders bring to the table. Come October, November, they will have to bring their leaders to the table, elected, chosen, or appointed to negotiate the terms of the end to this nonsense. That's the only information we have for them. We don't take part in their disagreements. We only act as observers. And as they put somebody there, my only role will be to size that person. If that person can give an argument to counter what we say, to justify why we're not supposed to belong. That's all. That's all our concern. Because we're not taking part in the elections. If the elections were not fair, we would not have been part of it. If they were fair, we're not part of it. And so let them prepare whoever they want. Let it be Madame Chantal Biya. Let it be Brenda Biya. Let it be anybody in that camp to meet us and discuss the terms of separation. That's all what interests us in this struggle. We're unfortunate to have them as our neighbors. But there's nothing we can do. We cannot change the geography of the world. They are part and parcel of our life because they are our neighbors. But we have to do everything to prevent the stench that comes out of the neighbor's house from coming to infect our own children in our own house. And so that is how it is. Mr. Poor Wane had anything in his life. If he didn't want to retire, he deserves some rest. Are those comfortable air-conditioned offices in governor's office, in ministry in Yaoundé? Could he not sit on one of those things in compensation for his suffering in Idabato? Rather than do him that small comfort, he's been sent to Ngumo. Ngumo is not even off to Idabato, somewhere near Mr. Paul Biya's, in the Mr. Paul Biya's region there. It's a shame. And so again, my answer is Ambazonians beware, Ambazonians remain ourselves. Who stay in their kingdom come. Over to you.